Call the meeting to order. Rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we start the public hearing, apparently we didn't officially pass the tentative budget at last month's meeting. So, a motion now to accept the preliminary budget.
I make a motion.
Yes, I motion
Preliminary
second.
budget.
I'll second it.
Rick seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Now we can start the public hearing. And even though I had sent an email right out and we got the replies back, we just wanted to do it
Officially.
the right way. So I'll go through the budget real quick. Since there's not a big crowd here, any questions, just stop me. So the first one is on the general fund with the town board. That's for 4 board members, and that's $10,332, no increase. And the contractual at $4,000 stayed the same. That $4,000 includes training that's required by the state, and then if our board members happen to go training off site. The justice, he had asked for a larger increase, but we gave him a 3%, bringing it to $10,694. I don't know why the percent says 5. It's only 3. But that salary is for the clerk and the judge. The judge will get $56.28, and the clerk gets $50.66. Contractual stayed the same. Supervisor's salary is $11,497, and the deputy is $593. No increase there. The auditor, or the accounting person, requested a 3%, bringing him to $12,452, and the contractual stayed at $2,500. Tax collection, nothing.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
So you said 3%, yet one shows 6 and the other shows 5.
I know, and I don't know why it did that. But it is a 3%. I double checked it tonight. Yeah, I was wondering if it was here so I could ask her.
It's reading up around column.
Yeah, it's reading off the,
There's a lot of them that they do that, and it's not.
Looks like it's reading off the expenditures.
no,
I don't
more
know.
than that.
I have to check.
But anyway, it is a 3%. The tax collection, nothing for the equipment, and we reduced the contractual to $1,500. The budget officer gets $956, which is not an increase, and a contractual for $100. Purchasing the equipment, we left at $3,000, and the contractual, we upped it to $1,500, and that was because, why did we do that, Dick? There was something with a copier.
Yeah, well, I would like to look and make sure your copy your contract.
We did, yeah.
You're looking at your contract, is it?
And we weren't real sure what
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
The assessor had asked for a 6% increase. We gave him a 3%, bringing it to $18,635. Again, it says 609, but it's not. Equipment,
How did that go over?
what?
Is he okay with that?
Not really, but
Okay.
he didn't shoot me. The equipment, I increased it to 1,000 because he's going to need a laptop, and we can't get it this year. I put it in there in case we can't get it this year out of his funds. His contractual stayed at 3,000. The town clerk asked for a 5%, bringing him to $20,775. The deputy is paid for 150 hours at $13.20, bringing it to $1,980, for the total of $22,755. Contractual stayed at $4,800. The attorney, The contractual, we upped that to 2,500 because of the bridge situation with probably bonding and that kind of stuff. Okay, personnel is the Board of Elections, Board of Review.
Board of Review.
Sorry. And left that at 1,300. Engineer, actually the engineer is the grant writer. I couldn't find any other place to put it, so I added in the 2,500 for the grant writer. For the elections, contractual stayed at 350. For the buildings, that is for the custodian for the offices and the town hall. And she gets $68.37. And then the groundskeeper works 15 hours a week for 20 weeks at $15 an hour for $4,500. So that's how I came up with that. Equipment stays the same. The contractual, that's for the heat, any supplies we have to buy for the town hall, anything. I left that at $33,800. The central storeroom, we left that at $1,500. Again, that's for supplies. Central data processing, we left at $1,500. That's our internet person who maintains our website, and anytime I goof up and have to call them for help. So under special items, the unallocated insurance increased that to $28,000.
What's that for?
The insurance,
The unallocated.
and you can ask me that, and I have it, and I don't know. My mind just went blank. Dick, any questions?
No, yeah, unallocated,
I think that's the insurance on the buildings.
Okay.
I think.
Yes. Yeah,
Through 900.
yes,
Okay.
or 900, yes.
Municipal dues, that's through the Association of Towns, that stays at 700. We put back in $1,000 to start putting away so we can buy sand pit or gravel pit sometimes. Contingency, I left that at 25,000.
Contingency for what?
What?
I mean, that's a lot of money for contingency.
You know, we don't know what's going to come up. We don't know, fuel could go high. The traffic is $2,000. That's for any road signs or anything we need. Nothing for firefighting. Dog control, the dog control officer did not ask for an increase, so it stays at $37.68, and his contractual is $3,000. Nothing for Board of Health. Vital statistics.
Dog control, is that also for the animal shelter?
No.
That's another fee on top of that.
Oh, the money, the dog control under the contractual.
That's
That-
the humane.
Yep, 1,900 for the Humane Society.
Okay. Out of that 3,000.
Out of that 3,000, and the rest would go for his mileage.
Okay, all right.
Did you ever figure how many dogs you would take out there?
No,
I'm still wondering, per dog basis would be cheaper.
I don't know, I keep forgetting to call them.
I think we had 4 this year.
But if you have to go retrieve your dog, you have to go pay for how long it's been there to begin with.
Yeah, they all have to pay.
So they're getting double dipped in the payment then.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, but the dogs could stay there for a long time too.
That's true too. I'm just saying, it's the people who grab the dog after 3 days of sitting there, they're getting paid twice.
Right.
I'll try to remember to call them.
Yeah.
Vital statistics. He'd asked for 3%, so that brings it to 567. Again, it shows 5. I don't know why. Anyway, ambulance is our contract with Tri-Town Rescue, and that is at $13,091. And then I left in the 500 for North Country Life Flight. I didn't couldn't get any answers out of our dispatch center as to why we can't request them when they're calling in. And I even emailed North Country Life Flight asking them how to get into the clearing, and they didn't respond either. So, I mean, that is, if you wanted, we can take it out, but,
Well,
I mean, it is all volunteer service, and I guess we have used them a couple times in the past, so. The Medical Health Center, last year we started putting in $1,000 in case anything, they go over their budget. And then hopefully this will be last year, because that's going to be on the market. Superintendent of Highways, his salary is $53,520,250, and the deputy is $750. I don't know if that's right or not. Anyway, that number is. Highway is $54.75, and the deputy gets $750.
What are we gonna pay him from November to January 1st?
What are we going to pay them?
Hmm.
Well, we already paid, well, half of the salary that we put in.
So we're just gonna keep the same amount divided out?
Yep. So it should be under. His contractual stayed at $1,300. The garage, the contractual stayed at $21,000.
Does that cover just the heat?
Yep. And any other repairs that they may need.
Okay.
I mean, we
Those
have-
all repairs, heat, everything like that?
And supplies that they get, everything that they use within the garage, not actual highway related, but in just the garage supplies.
Okay.
Does the unallocated insurance back in the general fund cover the insurance on a town garage?
Yes. Street lighting, I increased that to $10,000 because it looked like we were getting close to the $8,800 that we had scheduled for this year. For parks, I increased that to $1,500, and that's to the flowers for the park, the flags, and I want to order more of the banners that we had, so I increased that, bigger banners for the main road.
Who paid for the sign out here repairs on that?
The Summerfest committee.
Summerfest, and there's still funds in there, and once that's done, and there's 3 other signs that are going to be going up, once those are done, there won't be much left.
Right.
They want to deplete that.
No, but that was something I looked at. And
Well, we don't, I mean, that's kind of their,
no, I saw that, and I'm going, right now, the town guys just told me, is that something the town highway department guys could have done, fix the roof on that? And
Well, they probably could have, but it was all pretty much one set price for when they designed the sign.
I know, I just, when they put the roof on, I was like, that's something the guys could be doing in the slow time, give them something to do. And they could save their money.
we'll have other projects.
We had set, the Summerfest had set aside those funds way when we stopped doing them. Playgrounds and recreation, this is the rest of the groundskeeper's job for the summer. And he works 30 weeks at 15 hours a week. And then we give him 2 weeks to clean up in the spring and then to clean up in the fall at 40 hours a week. So that brings it to $79.50. And the contractual is $11,000, and $7,500 of that goes to well, maybe not go to perishable. That's for the summer recreation. And they did confirm that if we do it with them, it will remain $7,500.
Did you ever get the breakdown on that?
No,
You ain't doing
no.
No, we're not going to, unless it's
I
boiled.
don't know. Town fair show likes to come to these meetings, maybe like a zoning goes to town fair show meeting.
There you go.
Let me know, I'd like to watch.
Don't think you're ready for me?
That's Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, no, I saw that. It's a thought, trust me.
The library for personnel services stayed at 7, and her contractual stayed at 6. The museum stayed at 7. Yep.
I know that, the Fraser Library is going to be closing, so we may be getting more residual from there, which some of them are in the school district, or
Right.
live in this town. Is that gonna be enough books and so on for her? I mean,
I think so.
I know she does a lot through the Northern New York Library
She
Association.
has a lot of volunteers,
Right.
so I think she would be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because see, they're not funded. That's their problem. They spent all of the Baden-Hausen money instead of, using Northern New York
Right.
Library. So she really is very, diligent, and she watches her pennies over there. I know
Yeah,
she
she
does.
does.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was the first time I was in there a couple weeks ago, I was so impressed.
I
What
know.
she's been able to do with so little to work with.
Right, and there's not much space in there. but
She's done a terrific job.
She has, absolutely. And
Rick, not to put you on the spot, but you
Yeah.
just did a walkthrough through there. Would it be to your advantage maybe to put a little money in the budget for repairs that you might have seen or think you might?
Well, the repairs we're doing anyways.
Right, but
That actually goes under another fund. doesn't it?
No, this goes under the library. We have 6,000 put in for that, and so far we've only used 2,500. So
Okay.
I think we're okay. She's pretty. Yeah, and I mean
And I do agree with you, I walked through them with, my match, and she actually had some money to work with. But she did.
Yeah, I know. We don't want Fraser to find out about her.
No.
well, they're closing, period. It's done. They've already filled it on that, so that's a done deal.
What are they doing with all their belongings, content? Who owns
Well,
that?
it probably will go back to Messina because it's part of the Messina
Oh.
Village's library.
I know they gave some of the books to LBSH,
Yeah,
but I don't know their furniture or anything where that would go.
yeah. See, and Jan is a librarian, but it was the title. A lot of it was the title of who was running the library.
Oh, I think they,
Like it was.
we're lucky that Jan does this, so.
Watches the budget.
Yeah, watches the budget, and she doesn't look to make a living off it, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of their money went into paid help.
Yes,
Is
it
that-
is,
yeah.
yes, and this is all volunteer, yeah. And it's been like that since the beginning of it.
Yep.
And her new aide started, is very good, and we're very impressed with it, and she's been over here helping picking up stuff for Jan, which we hadn't done before. And it's gonna be a good addition with it.
Is there a lot of people that use it?
Did I use the library?
I never paid any attention, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she has a lot of homeschoolers.
Yeah,
that use
yeah.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And it definitely, when you see the people parking outside, even when it's not open.
Oh, use the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, well, that's the idea.
I don't want to say steal.
Yeah, yeah. Because it was expanded too, so that, they can get it from,
The
the
school.
little parking area across now, where they couldn't before. They used that to park right in front of the municipal building. But,
Okay.
so, it's basically the only public Wi-Fi in town.
Museum stayed at 7,000.
So question on that,
Okay.
who would have guessed? They've only spent 2,379 year to date. Yet you've got it budgeted for 7,000.
There's actually more being spent, and we were looking at doing some other things, but now with the electrical work that has to be done, and it's
So
gonna
that
be done.
includes the electrical last we got.
This is not included, what's gotta be done now,
That's coming out of the
Out of-
7,000.
but it'll be coming out of the 7,000.
Okay.
We
But then
typically,
if that's done this year, You did the walkthrough.
You said the word "it."
Oh, that also covers the heating
Okay, all right.
and that's.
Okay, that's what
The
I'm
lights.
trying to figure out.
And we also, we always are looking at other projects to
Yep.
keep the building
Yep.
in shape.
Just
And
wanna
we have
make-
other money we were
When
gonna
you see
spend
that
on.
big discrepancy, my mathematical mind goes,
Did we ever do the rain gutters?
No, but that, I think we're, you know, the sort of,
I know
for
they
that.
were looking at that.
Yeah, there've been a lot of different ones, but we figured we'd get a lot cheaper than what they originally had looked at, and when we do probably do that project, that'll probably be paid by the historical group.
Okay. Historian stayed at 600, and her contractual stayed at 500. Nothing in celebrations. Adult recreation stayed at 1,500.
what's that?
Adult recreation
Yes.
is for the senior citizens group. We have one in St. Louis Falls and then one in Brazier. So the senior citizens, they each get 750, and that's to help with their clubs.
Okay.
And trips.
And the Meals on Wheels, there's actually someone,
Yes.
I know there was one, or probably more than others, was actually getting Meals on Wheels at
Okay.
Trinity Falls.
It's just, first time I'm going through with
Yeah.
my questions.
That's good.
So I had the same question there once, and someone pulled me off to the side and said, there's quite a few people getting Meals.
No,
Meals on Wheels, so
no, I mean, I think it's great, it's just kind of, what is it? Because
Right.
adult recreation kind of says one thing,
They
and
used to
Meals
have
on Wheels says necessity to me.
They used to have these.
They used to have dances here, and they would go between here and Parrishville and, you know, the neighborhood towns, and, yeah, they'd have old timers dancing here, and a band, and, yeah.
That'll be us someday.
Okay. The planning is the code enforcement officer. He requested to put his contractual more into his salary instead of, because he doesn't charge mileage or anything. I didn't want to do away completely with the contractual for mileage in case someone new comes in, and so I did lower that some, but not a lot. Cemeteries.
Is he okay with that, what you just did?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, as long as he got his money in his salary. Cemeteries, we left that at 3,000. And trust me, that 3,000 is a good deal for us because we don't want to take over the cemetery. What this 3,000 does is help the mowing and so. Okay, the employee benefits, the state retirement.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
The one in Captain'sville, does that come out of this 3,000, or is that something totally separate, or is that kind of?
Captainsville is mowed by our groundskeeper.
Oh, I was just
So
curious,
it
I
comes
didn't
out
know
of
what
his,
the,
yeah, so it
okay.
comes out of his, he gets paid to do
And the
that.
Catholic Church takes care of the one in the Lake Room?
Yeah, so we only have, the town only has the Captainsville one,
Okay.
and that's enough. So state retirement, I increased that to 15,000. Social Security increased it to 14,000. And this is for everyone that's paid under the general fund. The hospital medical insurance, that had to be increased because our former superintendent of highways only had coverage on himself. The new one coming in is 2, so the rates went up. Our debt service, that's our payment on our town office. The payment is $14,500, and of course the interest dropped, so it's $10,029.
But that may go up again.
Huh?
But that may go up again, you never know.
No, it shouldn't. I think we're
locked in.
I think we're locked in.
Okay.
I'm positive we're locked in. There's so many years though, we can't pay it off.
Right.
Yeah.
And last five,
Yeah.
within the last five,
Something like
we got
that.
a lot like we want.
The real property taxes, this is our revenues, I increased that to 190,000. This is the money we get off taxpayers.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
The interest and penalties is the interest we collect, and I decreased that to 2,000 because
We're all paying. that.
Yeah, no, we're not getting anything. The property tax by county, that's our sales tax. We did have a good year this year, believe it or not, so I did increase that.
Holy mother of God.
So, but I don't want to increase it too much because it can take a sudden drop. Clerk, yeah. Clerk fees, that's the rentals. So increased that to $750. We're a little bit behind this year, but
It's starting to build back up again now.
COVID didn't help us any. And then nothing for the intergovernmental charges. I don't know what that is really. But, the interest and earnings on our money, I left that at $2,500. That's hopeful, but rental of real properties, I left that at $1,000. Dodge licenses, I left that at $1,000. And the permits, which would be our building permits, I put that at $2,000. And actually, we're a little ahead of that this year. But anyway, fines and forfeited bail, I increased that to $5,000. Telling our judges they need to get on it. And the state aid hasn't changed in years at $10,131. Mortgage tax, we reduced that to $4,500. I'm using $99,595 out of our fund balance to get our total down to $468,476. That would go in front of the taxpayers. That's for the general. Any other questions on the general? Okay, on to the highway. Transportation. Left that at $50,000 for the salaries. And contractual stayed at $50,000. No, I reduced that $5,000 because we took it out of the, for the part-time guy. Capital outlay, that's our chips. I'm gambling on this one. I increased it to $320,000. But we'll know in early spring what our actual amount is for the capital fund for chips. We may have to do a budget amendment. But. Bridges, increased that to $60,000. And that was from the engineer's cost that I had previously, and then taking a little bit from each area so we can get started on that Lake culvert. And hopefully that grant will come through and this will be extra.
But the 60, we took it from everywhere else.
Took a little bit here.
Here and there.
Yep. And we cut the part-time Dan.
Part-time guy, there's something else I remember we grabbed it from.
Yeah, so. Machinery and personnel services, I increased that to $32,000. Equipment, we reduced it to $25,000, and contractual reduced to $52,000.
Somewhere in here, did you put for the new pickup truck? Thank you, Jeff.
No,
we're not getting a pickup truck.
we're gonna hold off on that.
Where I'm hoping if we can snag that from is that 60,000 we put towards the bridge. We hired a grant writer that supposedly thinks that they can get all of it. So we're hoping we can take that 60 and divide that back out. And in a perfect world, I think there's money for that pickup. We just got to get through this bridge hurdle.
And really, even until the architect and the engineer tell us, do the design, we really don't have a clue as to how much it's really going to be. So.
60,000 was what they considered the high end.
And we don't really feel that they really need a truck at this time. A pickup. They have one pickup and they have a state rep that they could use if they had to. We only have 4 employees.
Well, that red truck's supposed to be back too.
And the red truck is supposed to be back once we get the software for it.
In a perfect world, there's money here for a pickup. don't know what the future spending is gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of when the plow trucks break down and they have to plow with one of the pickups, and those of us living out in the boonies out there worry because we're the last ones on the list.
Well, they got two trucks, two pickups with plows in it,
Okay, I'm
and 3 plow trucks.
just raising the.
They got more plows than they got men.
No, just raising the concern.
Right.
Those of us that live in the boonies worry about,
Yeah.
we're the last ones to be looked at, so we.
And we understand that. The state rec and the little pickup, they can do like this driveway, Church Street, the River Street. They can do the little side. So.
And we're not saying it's out of the question.
I just raising the concern.
Yep, no, that's in the back of our mind, but really, if we can hold off, we're going.
So then under miscellaneous, personal services are reduced at 4,000, left the contractual at 5. Snow removal increased that to 121,000, and contractual are left at 85.
So, back up.
Yep. How far back?
Yeah, you're gonna confuse me now. Not a good thing. So, under the highway,
Yep.
you've got personnel services.
Yes. Personnel services is split up among different categories. So we use like the snow one in the winter. The general one would be like for the summer.
Okay. Why do we do that?
Why do we do that?
Wouldn't it make more sense to put their salaries under one thing so you kind of know where it's at?
I would think so, but the state has us break it down like.
Really?
Yes.
These are state,
Okay, yeah, no, I don't.
VA, whatever, those are the state,
Wow. They want to write the
financial,
statements.
yeah, that's their little accounting, so we have to go by that.
Don't feel bad, when I lived in Milton, in Vermont, I asked these same questions.
Well, that's
The services for the governments, that is our county plowing and our county mowing. So even though it figures out that we're going to be putting out 47,000,
You get
in the
that back.
revenues we get it back.
Okay.
So it kind of is a wash.
All right.
The benefits, I increased the state retirement 37.5, and Social Security to 20. The hospital medical insurance, this one took a jump because I just found out that one of our highway employees is not a single, but he has coverage for 2, which I was not aware of last year. So we're going to be short this year, but we're going to have to make some adjustments. So that's why it jumped so much this time. The benefits and clothes and shoes, that's something that is in a union contract. They each get $250 towards purchase of boots or clothes. The drug and alcohol program, that's for our drug testing. And we have no idea how many times they do it. It's random.
Yep.
The debt service is where I had an issue, I had a problem. Because we're getting a new plow truck, but that's not coming in probably until May or June. And so we'll only have to do half a year. But the attorney couldn't break it down for me yet as to what the actual payments would be. So I just took the total amount and divided it by 5 years. And that's where I came up with the 52,000. And then I just left the interest the same for this year. Probably not the best way to do it, but it'll work. But it's in there.
There's nothing wrong getting it paid off in 5 years.
Yes. Even, well, USDA, our paperwork is going to say 15 years, but we're going to figure it out on a 5-year plan.
Yeah,
Because I'm not going
you
to.
can't go 15 years on a truck.
No.
So they like you to get 5 years out of the trial.
Well, I mean, we want to keep our,
You should get 15, but if you go 5 years per truck,
Yeah.
3 trucks.
All right.
okay, under the revenues, the real property taxes, I increased that to 425,000.
You're welcome.
Did you vote?
Just thought I'd say it.
Okay. The sales tax, I increased 155,000. And here's these services for the government, so that's at 47,000 to wash out the other. Interest and earnings, I increased that to 1,000. I probably shouldn't have, because we haven't really gotten anything yet, but. And state aid, that's our chips.
Hold on, back up to interfund revenues.
Yep.
This year, you got 53,540, and next year you budgeted nothing.
That is for the, it was a DASNY, grant that we had.
It was a grant.
Okay, thank you.
And stuff, yeah, it was a grant on the town hall,
Yeah.
Okay.
which we have $2 more coming up that. So that is it. So I'm planning on taking 98,855 out of our unexpended. For a total budget of $1,046,875. And I did have it figured out, and I don't know what I did with it. How much, it was $5 and something per thousand. And I have it, but I don't have it with me. I don't know what I did with it. It dropped from last year. Last year it was $5.35, and I think this year's gonna be like I want to say $5.19, $5.19. But I can't find my piece of paper where I did it on. Anyway, so our total amount to be raised by taxes will be, with both general and highway, will be $615,000. And it's under the cap. We could have gone 16,000 and we're at 13,000. So we still have 3,000 to play with, but that's not so. That's our budget. And we do have, right now, we have over $1.4 million in our reserves accounts, with all the accounts. So I don't feel too bad about dipping into it to keep the taxes down. Questions?
Got mine in. Have any ones?
Dolores? No. So one other thing, we talked about getting the highway superintendent the software.
Yes.
Dick got in touch with them, that's going to be about 13,000. I'm not,
No, we have to, no, the 60,000 sounds we got, so we about 9.
oh,
That's how much we have in the budget in the garage.
oh, we have,
Yeah, the amount would be a grand total of just a little under $10,000 for the software program, installation and training.
I'm
What?
not sure.
For what's it do?
No?
It does better accounting for him.
It would keep track of all the.
Program features include budget ledger report, calls, complaints by category, employee leave report, employee records, inventory report, journal by category, data range, maintenance and condition, which is one of the ones that NYMER just did us on that they needed to be doing now. Parts inventory, project summary, raw materials inventory, time sheet summaries, vehicle fuel logs, which is the other one that NYMER got us. Vehicle maintenance log, vehicle records, vehicle work orders issued, vendor transaction history vouchers. That's just one piece of it. There's a whole, and there's, features concerning employees, vehicles, roads and material inventory, bridges, culverts, signs, and other assets. It basically helps track. I know Williamson's what we got for both the budget program and the clerk program. I can't tell you how much those costs. How much the cost was to initially buy them, and this is the initial cost of installation. But I can't imagine running out of my office without the program. But yeah, it's something that the incoming problem with incoming highway superintendent that, you know, we probably brought up, you know, he would like some kind of program that would be able to work with that.
I don't think we can afford it until after we.
And just, you know, man, I was take it, plug all that information, and that's all he's gonna be doing all day,
Yeah,
just plugging.
to get where the money, yes. I think our priority should be that culvert.
I think what information that we're asking them, or Vicky was asking them, something he can do with that program.
Spreadsheets are a miracle.
What's that?
Spreadsheets are a miracle.
Just keeping track of fuel, mileage, hours, I mean, those are.
Love spreadsheets.
Yeah, just using
And
an
look at
Excel
green
program.
program.
Yeah, an Excel program will do what that will do,
Yeah.
and maybe at a later date, but.
Send them to Excel training, because the stuff that Excel does now,
Far
compared to what it
exceeds.
used to do,
Yes, yes,
send them to Excel training, it's a lot cheaper.
yes, and those are offered to the Northern New York Library Association, that I've taken a few. So,
Okay, there's no other questions, comments? I mean, I think with what we're facing, I don't think it's a bad budget. I don't think it's the best, but it is what it is.
what concerns me is the CHIPS money that you,
I estimated high on the chips, yes.
yeah, and also the tax that we're gonna get back,
The sales tax?
the sales tax, because it's gonna start pinching people's pocketbooks here pretty soon. Just spending.
The only thing with sales tax is as inflation goes up, your sales tax goes up.
Yep, I know, yeah.
So that number may be a wash. People may spend less, but they're gonna pay more, and their sales tax is still the.
Right, right. Those are my only concerns.
I know, I did realize that the chips was probably a little high, but.
With the CHIPS money, you just back up in the blacktop. I mean, they did way more this year than they expected to do.
Because we got extra this year.
And you still keep doing a carryover in the CHIPS more so than you had the year before. at
Yes,
least.
yes.
Well, and the seminars that I attended on Zoom said that they were trying to keep the chips going and even increasing it. So that
In-
just.
In another place, I think we can cut next year if things, CHIPS money is tight, blah, blah, blah. There's 2 years worth of sand down
Yes, yes.
Yes,
there.
there's lots.
There's some money there that we can save.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree, because there was they probably have enough sand down there this summer
Yes.
for this year.
we brought in 250 loads.
Yeah.
I asked Walt, like, a couple weeks ago, how much, and it was like, holy cow.
And something else over on topic. Seaway got beat up pretty good last meeting. There's something that they get mentioned. Their dozer was down to the town, pushing all the sand up. I believe it was their dozer that was used. I think there's a lot of things that did get brought up that they are contributing. I don't know how many loads of gravel we hauled out of there. And some of this I didn't know. I probably should have said something last meeting, but
Our highway superintendent should have.
that's,
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that Ernest was telling me, that payloader during the ice storm, we broke the windshield on it at no cost to us. He is the following muncher to do some of the roads at no cost to us. Turns does it an awful lot.
I mean, it's, as far as the gravel pit not being assessed correctly, that's not their fault.
Nope. No, no.
So,
No, that is,
And really,
and I still disagree, and I'd like to have somebody help me on this one. How can it be assessed for $1,500 or $2,000 an acre with net on it? You're pulling out hundreds of $1,000s per acre of material.
Hey, you had me guessing.
I'm just asking the question, how you come up with that assessment on that, and I don't under,
with you guys.
And when they get done pulling material out, it still goes back to work the recreational land, because instead of being this high, it's on this side.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Thing is, if we up this tax,
Well, I'm not saying we gotta beat them up by any means, I'm trying to understand this taxes.
right, supposedly the next 5 years, there ain't gonna be much coming out of there at all. And that could close it down. So now you've got an abandoned town. So what does the taxes do on that?
Here, we're only going from 1,500 to 750 on
We
28.
lose money. In ways, yes. You know, I'm hoping he keeps it. Right now, he doesn't know. Because all those trucks, there's only 7 of them his, everything's hired.
And that
The money
project,
wasn't there.
and the project's done.
Yeah,
In the
the
same-
project is done.
Like I said,
These
it's our fault.
people,
This is
the
fault.
others here in the town of Hopkins, that work for them too.
You know, I wasn't trying to beat them up last meeting.
No, I didn't say you were.
No, I understand.
And so they got beat up.
Yeah, oh yeah, and I was one of the ones beating them up, trust me, I know what I was saying. But on the other side of it, he does a lot for the town, but certain things that need to be done may have been overlooked. So I'm trying to get across that I think there's a happy medium, that a discussion with Pat, and I went to school with him. So a discussion with him usually will go a long way, just saying, look, you do a lot for the town, we understand everything you've done, but we've gotten some complaints, is there anything more you can do for this part of Lake Zone Road? Because he is a very reasonable businessman, he's gonna be able to write it off. It's all in the approach, and if he's approached, and it's a compliment first and a question second, usually Pat Kearns will say, what are you looking for me to do? Let me figure out the cost. But it's gotta be a discussion with him.
Yeah, it's like a
Thing is,
blacktop.
that culvert or bridge up there.
Yep.
I can remember when it was back towards the hill part, and we had problems. They moved it to where it's at, and it's never been right. Yeah, ever since I was a little kid, it had problems, it was never done. And the second bridge, that's just as bad. When the county had it, it was bad. So,
I think the culverts, the county should be paying for it. The culverts, the county should be paying for it, no matter how you look at it.
What's this bridge, 1 foot short?
No, it's like,
About 1.5 foot, yeah.
Somebody needs to be holding the other side of the tape, that's one of the reasons.
yeah.
You can wad one end up in your hand, or you can read the dummy end, which one do you want?
I guess part of my confusion over this whole thing with the Lake Zone Road was why half of it was done, and I.
Did you go down and look?
No, but I was.
I mean, that's the only reason I got upset last meeting, and I admit I got upset, but I got upset because, number one, somebody told me that I don't compliment the town, which I think Lake Azonia has done nothing but compliment since we've been coming to the meeting.
Right, yeah.
Number two, why did you only go to the Wilson Road with the good stuff? Either make it all the same or something, but to only go that far and look at me and say, well, that's the most traveled part of the road, give me a freaking break. I am not an idiot. I wasn't born yesterday.
What I couldn't figure out is, Pat was giving us the gravel to do it. Why would we go
And buy.
and
Buy.
purchase? And I can't get why.
Well, the question I had
That's why I got
You
upset.
go up White Hill and they use all this mulch up through there, which is great for shoulder material. We use that for the roads in Parisville, but our own road that gets more traffic, we didn't do that.
I don't know, I mean, you have to draw a fine line there because,
Somerswell's got to draw the line and say, all right, we had money for this, we didn't have money for that, and I get that.
yeah, but it's like,
I get it, but when you're sitting there in front of somebody and
Kind of
saying,
worded that a little better.
you gotta word it, I mean, you forget, I was in business, I was in business a lot of years. There's a way to word it to me saying, we only had enough money to do this part of it. If he had used the word enough money, I would have shut right up. But instead it was, we used the money for this. And I just, it's raising havoc. I mean, I'm the one that gets emails from the Lake Azonia people, your uncle included. Hey, what happened?
You get emails, I get phone calls.
You get the phone, I did say you get phone calls a lot. And it's more, you know, they're just saying, how come not? And I said, look guys, the town only has so much money. They did up to the Wilson Road for this year. Let's wait and see what happens. And I can say that. I mean, I dealt with executives where I knew how to do the wording, but there's only so many emails I can send with that wording, so they wise up and figure out what to do.
Wait a minute, yeah.
You know, so,
And the question you're gonna ask, and that is a legitimate question, when is the Lake Road open blacktop? He's doing the Silver Falls Road next year, part of it. Depending on how much money we got, what's he doing after that?
Is
I mean-
Silver Falls Road that bad?
There's a section of it up through there that I was up there a while ago, and there's a section that needs to be done.
yeah, there is, but the Lake Azonia Road wasn't done correctly last
To
year.
begin with, great.
You know, we've got speed bumps. Are we supposed
That's
to
gonna
have?
be brutal on the plows, that has to be.
It's brutal on the plows, you should, and it's brutal on the plows, and driving that Lake Azonia Road last year when they didn't grade it, I hope to hell you people put money in there to grade it this year. I'm gonna be sitting here, and it won't be a pretty Peggy Burnham sitting here. It will be one ugly woman, because we literally were bouncing in our cars like this.
Was that for the ice, the road had ice on it, the potholes for the, like a snowpack road, is that what it was doing?
I think from the people that I've talked to that plowed for many years, they went too fast. And the plow actually chattered on the road once it started. It just kept going.
Until you grade it.
I never went through the last winter, so I don't know what you were experiencing.
Oh my God.
The way you talked about it, it sounded
And,
like
I
it was
mean, you're
brutal.
sitting in your car like this.
Well, I know when they had the rescue call up there, they said the.
Oh, and rescue's yelling at us. Yet rescue got there and they're like, do you know what that road is like? And it's like, dude, we drive it every day, really?
But I heard him talk about once, like on the plows, like, maybe they had to do it for that road up there. If you angle them this way or back, the more you angle them back, the better the plow. And with that lip in there, they may have them step forward so it's not catching those lips so hard.
Usually, you know, during the winter, sometimes you get a bit of a thaw, so it probably helps with keeping them fairly smooth. I don't think we got much of a chance last year out through there.
There's sections of the road just don't see the sun.
Yeah, it don't have it on, so.
Trust us, it's,
Remember after the ice storm, how roads got, there was so much ice and they
Yeah.
became potholes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but when they blacktopped it, you know, and it's no offense, because we know those guys, they're more than accommodating to us, and we understand it. But I mean, there are some of those blacktops, there's an actual lift.
I thought they were gonna blacktop in between them, and all of a sudden
I know, and then it was like they were.
No, they were done, yeah. It
But
was
I
that
think
way.
that would be a conversation with the new highway superintendent.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the December meeting.
you'll break that greenhorn in, right, aren't you?
Hey, we've been pretty good.
Yes,
We've been trying to be good. I try to at least give you a warning if it's gonna be a bad meeting. Haven't had one.
Then I go to Florida.
Yeah.
Do you want to accept this meeting, this,
I was gonna say that's it.
No,
No, we'll pass it at the
Okay.
November meeting.
we won't forget.
A motion to adjourn the public hearing.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Gary, motion, you are second.